So, there are a lot of Snowflake Ironman accounts out there, all with a bunch of different restrictions and game modes, but they're all unified by one thing. Their restrictions are self-imposed. RuneScape itself does not help you maintain your account's restrictions. You gotta do that yourself. That means that, at times, you run the risk of accidentally breaking your own rules. You see this all the time with Chunkman accounts accidentally stepping outside of their boundaries, or even something like a pure account accidentally gaining defense levels. Well, it's happened to me. The costume roulette game mode that I'm playing forbids me from leveling skills unless absolutely required for the randomly selected set of items I have to collect. If I level something I don't strictly need to level to get the item, that breaks my rules, and unfortunately that has happened for the first time. Now, I said in the title of this video that I made 2 mistakes. Yes, I broke my rules, but the details of that little fuck up don't become relevant until later on in the video. The first mistake was much simpler. In the last episode, I rolled the red decorative armor and was preparing to spend my first of many, many hours in Castle Wars that I'll be spending throughout the series. A few hours later, after I'd gotten all the tickets and bought the gear, I went to have a look at the footage I'd taken, only to realize that I hadn't taken any. I was recording, but only audio. The plus side of this is that I was recording normally when I realized this, so you get to hear the audio of the exact moment that I realized I fucked up. Shit. Fuck. Not a high point for me, not a high point. But let's move on. We've just completed the red decorative armor and are about to roll our next item set. But keep an eye out and see if you can spot the moment in this video where I break my rules, because it takes a while for me to realize as well. Let's get to it. Okay, and here we go. Let's hit the button. Blue Mystic Robes. We are getting some peculiar grinds. Okay, sure. You know what? That's useful. It's going to be expensive. I'm going to have to go and get a lot of ruby rings and then sell them, but interesting. Right, Blue Mystic Robes. On its face value, this is a super easy task because all we have to do is buy the damn robes from a vendor. But as that vendor is in the Wizards Guild, we're going to have to get 66 magic first, which is going to require some runes. Combine that with the cost of the robes themselves, and we need about 500,000 raw gold to get the job done. As I mentioned before, the best way for us to get that money without restrictions is good old ruby rings. Personally, I have an absolute burning hatred for content that requires world hopping. It is absolutely my Achilles heel. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but unfortunately we're going to be doing quite a bit of it this episode. Regardless, Blue Mystic is the first of 5 sets of Mystic we'll be picking up across this challenge, and it's obviously the easiest to get. But I gotta tell you, I'm looking forward to getting assigned the other sets later on down the road because, oh boy, getting them is a journey. Anyway, let's press on. And we find ourselves at the City of Magic. No one calls it that. Does anyone call it that? I don't know. We're at the Wizards Guild, alright? This will give us a +3 boost and let us in, I pray. Bang! There we go. Completed a hard task in the arty area. How fun. Now we have enough money. We've done our jewelry runs. Let's pick up our first piece of actual decent magic gear. Hat, top, bottom, gloves, and boots. Drop glass. That is rather splendid, I must say. We can get rid of that. Beautiful. Let's get back to the house and roll again. Back home, Mystic is honestly one of the most iconic looking sets to me, just because it looks kind of silly. The wonky floppy hat and the weird pokey shoulder pads. It looks a little bit like a pair of pajamas. Just excellent. Excellent stuff. Where is it? There it is. We really have very little progress in the magic wardrobe. Anyway, speaking of progress, let's keep going. Blue Mystic robes are completed. Okay, I'm not going to say anything because I have not been getting any luck with my predictions so far. Let's hit it. Oh my goodness, Moon Clan robes! More mage armor, but what this means is that we get to do lunar diplomacy and level all the skills and do all the quests that come with that. This is actually going to be huge for the account. Very excited. Very excited. What should I start grinding first? I don't know. Let's have a look at what we need to do. Lunar Diplomacy is the biggest questing and skilling jump requirement we've had so far on the series, so I thought it would be for the best for us to sit down for a minute, and chat about what exactly we'll be doing to prepare for this quest. We've got two main things we need to do, quests and skills. Lunar Diplomacy has the following requirements: 5 herb lore, 61 crafting, 40 defense, 49 fire making, 65 magic, 60 mining, and 55 woodcutting. And it requires the quests Fremnik Trials, Lost City, Rune Mysteries, and Shiloh Village, which itself also requires Jungle Potion and Druidic Ritual. Now there's a couple of additional skill requirements for Shiloh Village itself, 32 agility and 4 smithing to make a bronze wire, because there is literally no other way to get one. And then just one last question, and that's the bullseye lantern problem. As an item required to complete Lunar Diplomacy, there's two main ways of getting it. That's 49 smithing to make one from scratch, or completing the quest, Death to the Dorgashin, and buy one from a shop that quest unlocks. Now this brings us to an interesting little crossroads. Both leveling smithing and completing Death to the Dorgashin would be considered to be working on a different task, as there are item sets that require a higher smithing level, and there are item sets that require that quest. So which one should we choose? Well, in order to reduce ambiguity on this particular question, I'm gonna make a little ruling here. A bit of a sub-rule to golden rule number 2, if you will. And that is, simply put, skilling before quests. Now, why is that? It's because I generally think quests unlock the biggest bits of content in the game, and doing quests when I otherwise am restricted from doing them lends too much progress to my account that it hasn't yet earned. So as such, in order to get our bullseye lantern, what are we going to do? Well, naturally, we're going to be going and getting 35 Slayer, and getting one from a wall beast as a drop. That's right, wall beasts have a 1 in 25 drop chance of bullseye lanterns, and I think that if there's a way to get the thing that I need while leveling fewer skills, then I should take that option. Right, with all that yapping done and dusted, here stands our final Lunar Diplomacy requirements list. We're going to be getting a staggering 251 total levels in preparation to just start this quest, so let's get to it. 32 agility, there we go, and you might think, 32 is kind of low, that's only a third of the way through the skill, but let me tell you, that's actually far more impactful than you might think. With level 1 agility, it takes 12 minutes and 30 seconds to regen from 0 to 100 energy. But with level 32, it takes 7 minutes and 42 seconds. That's almost a 5-minute difference. That is very significant. And I'm just happy to finally get some faster run regen. Let's keep going with the Lunar Diplomacy. Now that we're getting more involved in questing, it's time to solve a problem we've had for a little while now, and that is, of course, prayer. One little fun fact about Ultimate Iron Man you may not know is that we can't actually carry a whole lot of stuff around, which means that when we need to fight quest bosses, it's best if we don't force ourselves to bring a bunch of food. So if we could just get 43 prayer, that'll make things like the Shiloh Village boss and so on much, much more straightforward. Fun little way that we're going about it, if we're killing blue dragons here in the Tavoli dungeon, almost a full inventory, sort of, and then we're going to run all the way up north to the Chaos Altar and use them there. This might be a terrible idea, it really might. It might just really not be worth it at all, but I mean, I only need 90 something bones on average RNG to get to 43 prayer from 16. So I think it might work, but whatever. We'll do one run and see if it was awful or not. I am wearing my Mystics. If things go terribly wrong and I get PK'd and I lose the Mystics, I will have to immediately stop everything and work on getting them back. That's true for any losses of any storable items part of the roulette. If I lose them, we tools down, go and get it back. Do what you gotta do. That does kind of speak to one fun little UIM mechanic that I imagine most people that don't play UIM aren't super aware of, and this is a segue into a little segment that we'll be having several times over the course of this series. Unique UIM mechanics. In particular, this one is that whenever an Ultimate Iron Man dies in any context, well, outside of save deaths, they drop everything. There is no 3 items are kept. Where's Protect Item? Protect Item literally does not do anything on Ultimate Iron Man. That's right, you can turn it on, you can die, it will not do anything. You never keep that 1 extra item, which is kind of hilarious. I should filter it off. There are a few very specific exceptions to that, but that's not even worth bringing up. So if I do get PK'd, I can't keep anything. I will just lose all of it. I would really rather not get PK'd, but let's just believe that the wilderness is dead and try and sneak through, eh? Wish me luck. Here we go. Hovering the logout button. Christ. Oh, I panicked. I panicked. I suppose I look scary to other players because of my Mystic. I mean, why would you be up here in Mystic, right? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, I need Hot Worlds. Holy shit, there are people fucking everywhere. I think I might be doing this at peak hours. This might be a bad idea. Run for the love of God. Bro, you're joking, you're joking. Oh, fucking Christ! If he hadn't stood behind that candle, he definitely would have hit me. Just let me get out, alright? Oh, I'll hop to a free-to-play world. Hop to a free-to-play world. Yep, I'm a genius. I'm a genius. So we got about 6k experience doing that. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. Bloody stressful though, and this is a terrible time to be doing this. It seems that everybody's trying to bloody PK here. Alright, so those encounters in the Chaos Altar were a little too sketch for me right now. I'm not willing to lose my little meager hoard of treasures down here. So we're going to be employing a slightly different tactic, and in order to do it, we need to clear our inventory of stuff. So it's about time we discuss our second UIM niche mechanic, and that is the death pile. Used in accounts for UIM pretty much the entirety of your playthrough. They are integral. The way it works is that UIM have a unique death mechanic. When you die, you don't go to death, you just drop everything on you in a pile on the ground. And it sits there for 1 hour. After an hour, the stuff on the ground expires and it's gone. But that's an hour of basically free inventory space. Now, in order to get our items dropped in a good spot, we are here at the Draenor Jail, where there is a spawn of nettles. We just spam click these nettles with no gloves on, which hurts you, until we die. And it's right next to Lumberage, so if we do get PK'd, or if we're worried about running out of time, we could potentially die, and then just run over to Draenor, pick our stuff up, and be good to go. And there we go, nice and clean. You love to see it. So we've got a little plugin up here telling us the timer left. What are we going to do with this? Well, we are going back to the Chaos Altar, but doing something slightly different. We'll be first hitting up the Boneyard, which is up here. Then we're going to pick up a full inventory of big bones, and we are going to run over to the Chaos Altar, use them all, pray for some good RNG, and then run back and repeat. Obviously, we might get the shit kicked out of us a few times, but it's a lot safer than risking all my stuff up there, because boy, I was a tick away from getting jumped by that guy in a crossbow. I'm not willing to risk it. It's just too busy right now, and I want to train prayer now. I'm stubborn. I'm doing this. Let's hit it. One more. Is that it? Yes! 43 on the dot. That was perfect. There's protect from melee. God, you couldn't. Is someone being PK'd over here? Yeah, they are. Let's go watch. I've got nothing to lose. Oh, he's getting him. He's getting him. Oh my goodness. Oh, the PKs are turning on each other. Oh my god. Oh, splashes the freeze. He's still not praying melee. Oh, he finally does. Oh, he's flicking smite. No, going hitting on prayer there. Slow switch again. Is he going to go for the axe again, or is it going to be too obvious? He's going for it, and he gets it up 41. Oh! That was exciting. After that exciting little interlude, we continued on, knocking out fire making and wood cutting and a bunch of quests with no problems. Then we moved on to mining, which is not exactly my favourite skill. Right, so we're doing a bit of iron mining here to work on our mining levels. The goal right now for mining is I'm going to get about 40 mining sitting here and just powering through some iron. I've got a line of pickaxes here to help me get through it. And then once we get to 40 mining, I think that is enough for us to mine tier 4 stars, and we're just going to do some AFK star mining. Obviously, really slow XP per hour, but the Stardust can be used to get a bunch of uncut gems, and I am kind of flustered on the whole crafting question right now, so I'm looking for any way to multi-skill crafting. Plus, obviously, mining stars has the benefit of being incredibly AFK. Can do other stuff, can edit videos, beautiful. Crafting is a bit of a roadblock. I need to do some more thoughts on that, which will be perfect while I am mining stars. There is 41. We can finally use our rune pickaxe. Beautiful. Drop the mithril one. Those of you with a keen eye might notice my login time has gone up by about 2.5 hours since the last clip, when it does not take 2.5 hours to get 41 mining. Not a huge iron mining aficionado, as it turns out, which is a little unfortunate, as there are tasks in the future which require, like, I don't know, something like 15 straight hours of high intensity, quote unquote, iron mining, which will be interesting. Anyway, off to go mine some stars. And there's 60 mining. Beautiful. That's one more requirement knocked off the list. We've got a little bit of an interesting situation with the inventory right now. We have 7.7 thousand stardust, which is going to translate into a lot of crafting XP, depending on how far I want to drag it out. But interestingly, I've also managed to obtain a clue of every tier while mining these stars. So we're going to go through, we're going to open these one by one. We're going to see how far we can actually get in each clue scroll tier. I'm thinking we could probably get maybe a couple of them done. I don't know so much about the hard and the elites, but if I manage to complete them, it could conceivably be very, very nice. Let's see what we get. Right, well, after that clue scroll debacle, we find ourselves here with this bloke who should sell stardust stuff. Beautiful. Alright, now all we are allowed to buy are bags full of gems. I suppose we can buy soft clay packs, but I have no reason to do that. So, bags full of gems. Oh, dragon swords. Interesting. I don't know what I'll do with those. Okay, that's a really nice haul of gems. Holy shit. So we're going to drop that last bit of stardust. Oh. And now we are free to do with all this stuff as we please in order to get as much experience as possible. That is a pretty damn good haul, I gotta say. To the greatest extent possible, I'm going to turn these into jewelry. Now, obviously, I don't have great access to gold bars. It's just the one spawned underneath the rock bank. But I think it'll still end up being worth it. I still need to figure out exactly how I'm going to go about getting, rather how I'm going to go about, you know, cycling through the gems with the inventory setup and so on and so forth. Shockingly enough, I don't have a lot of inventory space right now. Okay, I've done some thinking about how I want to tackle crafting, and I've come to the conclusion that it's just not worth actually making all these into gold jewelry. Yeah, I'd sell it for a lot of money, and it would be, you know, it'd be a nice chunk of XP per item, but it would take so long to telegraph that many gold bars. I'd be telegraphing like, what, 1,000 of them? Not telegraphing, sorry, just picking them up from inside. It would kind of suck, honestly. I feel like it just wouldn't be a whole lot of fun. In terms of how I'm going to get the rest of the crafting levels once I get a nice little windfall from actually cutting these, I have come up with a method pretty similar to the classic Iron Man Port Phasmatis charter ship. Let me pull up the map here. So charter ships, of course, Iron Men go there, they buy soda ash and buckets of sand from the charter ship guys, and then they go to a furnace, turn it into glass, and blow the glass for a bunch of crafting XP. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Port Sarim, buy said items from these charter ships, then I'm going to take the ship to Entrana and use the furnace there. Now, it's a little slower than the setup in Port Phasmatis if we run over to here. God, I'm flying all over the map. So that's their charter ship and their furnace, so it's obviously a little closer. But, I mean, not that much closer. The biggest thing will be that since I'm going to Entrada, I need to get rid of all my items with offensive stats, which means my Amulet of Accuracy will have to go. My Rune Scimitar will have to go, my Green D'hide Van Braces will have to go, and my Staff of Air will have to go. Now, the only one of these that actually hurts is the Rune Scimitar for obvious reasons, but I think it'll be worth it. I mean, if I really need a melee weapon, I can just pick up a Rune Sword from the guy who sells them over here. Oh, crafting level. Obviously not as good as a Rune Scimitar, but pretty bloody close as far as I'm concerned. And the alternative to selling it is that I death pile once an hour, and I could so vividly see myself forgetting to maintain the death pile and losing the Rune Scimitar anyway. So I'm thinking I cut my losses, sell it for some money that I can then put directly into crafting experience, and it'll allow us to crank out 61 crafting relatively quickly. And that's our final gem cut. I don't think we can cut Dragonstones yet, I think that's 55. So that is 100k we ended up getting for all that. We haven't even sold our Rune Scimitar yet. I should hope that that is enough to cover all our adventures in in Trana. Now, one little thing... I shouldn't have sold the Rune Scimitar yet. Whatever. One little thing is that my inventory is a little more crowded than I'd like. I would like to get rid of at least one more item. I'm keeping this tooth half of key because I need to stack up as many crystal keys as physically possible. Go away, Romeo. For a reason that will become clear much later. Playing a long game by holding on to this. So what we're going to do for the very first time on this account is we're going to go and use an absolute UIM classic item. The one, the only, looting bag. The humble looting bag. Some might say it's the one item that makes UIM a mode you can actually play. Others might say it's against the restrictive spirit of the game mode. To me, it's the iconic hobo sack that you carry all your worldly possessions in. That metal image is actually what drew me to playing Ultimate Iron Man in the first place. To quickly clarify how it works if you somehow don't know, it has 28 spaces, effectively a second inventory. You can only store tradable items in it, you can only deposit items inside it while in the wilderness, and you can only get items out of it by dying or by destroying the bag while standing in the wilderness. Finally, obtaining one is just a matter of killing any NPC in the wilderness. They've all got at least a 1 out of 15 drop rate. Super straightforward. It's definitely not what the looting bag was added to the game for, but what is Ultimate Iron Man if not a game mode that is built upon the back of unintended game mechanics? So here we are, punching thugs to death. You see what I mean by when I said I shouldn't have sold my Rune Scimitar yet. 1 out of 15 drop chance for the looting bag from these bad boys. We'll save a little bit of inventory space. I was personally hoping to, oh, fucking hell. There's a bloke coming. Oh, he's way too high level. What is his fucking name? Possum fucker. Crazy one. The fucking names you see in Australian Worlds, man. You love to see it. Anyway, I was kind of hoping to hold out on the whole looting bag thing for a little while longer. I do like the classic UIM cluttered inventory, but with something like this, it's best to try and maximize your inventory space as much as physically possible. Another one? I was like, I can actually attack me. Hey, there it is. That was quick. There we go, and that is just a bunch of inventory space opened up. Well, it's time to get on to a bit of bloody glass blowing. I don't think I've missed any items that can't be taken onto a Trana. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Let's do it. Hang on. What? What do I have that he finds disagreeable? The Chronicle? Maybe I have to destroy the Chronicle. It's not a big deal. What? What's the problem? What is the problem? None of these items have stats. Oh, they have a defense bonus. Oh, fuck, I didn't realize. Oh, I'm stupid. Shit. So do the Boots of Lightness. Alright. That's a little unfortunate. That means I won't be able to do this with any weight reduction gear. Oh well, it had to be a little harder than doing it in Port Phasmatis, so I suppose that only makes sense. Well, we'll go store this and drop the boots, which are a little sad. I'll have to get them back once I'm done here. Nice little milestone coming in here. 50 crafting. We love to see it. We've been at this now for about an hour. Oh, we can make Ambulance of Strength now. We've been at this for about an hour. I'm getting just over 20,000 experience per hour, which, to be honest with you, is a little better than I had anticipated. It's obviously nowhere near the speed of crafting uncut gems, but that was a very limited resource to begin with. So as I said, just over 20,000 experience per hour. It's probably closer to about 21,000 now that I've unlocked the ability to blow lantern lenses, which is nice. In terms of how much experience we have till we're level 61, we need about another 200,000, I believe. So we're looking at about 10 more hours of this. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on how lazy I am. There's worse experience methods out there. Crafting's always a bit of a sore spot for Iron Man, at least for Ultimate Iron Man. I think Bankies have access to some sandstone grinder thing. I don't really know how that works. I don't think it's relevant to UIM, so I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to it. You can see here we've made the soda ash and the sand into molten glass, and now we're just blowing it on the way back to the shop where we bought those items from. I guess I'll see you in 10-ish hours when we're done here, because I'm not anticipating anything else interesting is going to happen. Nothing particularly worth recording. We've got to crack in. Bloody watch a TV show or something. Blow some bloody glass. Let's get to it. Okay, so we've been at this for about, as you can see from the XP gain timer up here, about 6 straight hours. Really, gotta be honest, I've locked in on this one a bit. I'm in a bit of a trance. You know how you just, you really kind of lock in on something and you don't even notice time going by. Things just go well. It's not even like a conscious thought anymore. 61 crafting, beautiful. We can now craft whatever the hell exactly they need us to craft in that quest. That is The third last requirement ticked off. All we have left now is 65 magic and 35 slayer. So what we're going to do next is we need to open our looting bag back up. There are a variety of ways to safely get your stuff out of your looting bag. But the riskiest way, which is what we're going to do right now, is just run straight into the wilderness and destroy the bag. We're going to make sure we're actually in the wilderness. We are level 12. Destroy. Bang. It all appears on the floor. Easy. Traditionally, the way to get your looting bag stuff open is to die and then come back to it, but hey, we don't have time for that. I mean, we do, but I just don't want to do it. Now that we've got our mind runes back, it's time to consider what Slayer Master we want to use, and if we pull up our little list of Slayer Masters, you'll notice we have the combat level to use the Zanaris Master, Sheldar, and we require Lost City as a requirement for this quest, so it only makes sense to me that we go ahead and do Lost City right now, and, you know, see what Sheldar has to offer us, hopefully. It is something we can save spot with magic, nice and comfy, but also hopefully it's something that gets us a good few Slayer levels. Let's get to it! Right, so we're kicking off Lost City, and I know you need to cut down a certain tree, and look how much it sticks out. Did it always stick out this much? I don't know, it's got like different shading applied, maybe it's my plugins, I'm not sure. My memory of this quest as a young lad was that it was quite a grand little adventure, but in reality, it's very quick. And easy as... there we go. Lost City. Beautiful. Let's go get that task. Come on, Sheldar, be nice. Something that would be nice and easy to save spot would be absolutely beautiful. Where is she? Alright. See what we get. Trolls. Sure. Okay, I think that's good. We went and knocked out our first task of trolls, then got a task of fire giants, and then another task of trolls, all while making good use of the elemental weakness system. I gotta say, it was actually pretty clever of Jagex to put these elemental weaknesses on so many low-level Slayer targets, because it actually makes maging them down pretty cozy. Having hit 35 Slayer with no dramas, we knocked out our last few lingering quests and prepared to set sail for Lunar Island. Let's go! And we return with all our stuff, including our lantern, which I believe is the only real item we need to get up to the point where we can buy the items for the set, the Moonclad gear. Now, we don't have to get very far into the quest to actually be able to buy the outfit, so this will go pretty quick. Hang on a minute, what? Wait a minute. Wait, you're joking, hang on. Hang on a second, wait, everyone stop. I'm double checking the wiki guide to make sure I had everything. Hang on. Look at this. What is this? What am I seeing here? If you put the emerald lens in the given lantern, you should now have received an emerald lantern lens and an unfinished lantern. The quest gives you a fucking lantern! I've... No, I've really screwed up this time. My 35 Slayer, I didn't need to do that at all. I didn't need to do any of that. I just wasted a bunch of time. We're gonna move on from this. That was a mistake because I didn't do enough research. Admittedly, there was nothing to indicate on the hub of the quest page that you would be given the fucking item you required. They're just like, bring a bullseye lantern. Yeah, you go and read the quest guide. Hey, they give you one. Oh, okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. It was one requirement. It was one requirement we didn't need to get. I'm happy we didn't go and get 49 smithing though at least, or Death the Dorgasham. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this guy is supposed to give you the lantern if you don't have one, so I'm gonna drop mine and see if he gives me one. Oh, you absolute... This is fine. Everyone, this is fine. And so the penny drops. That stupid bloody lantern and my inability to actually read properly has cost us 35 unnecessary Slayer levels. Right, what does this mean? Well, obviously, right off the bat, the account is ruined and I'm shutting down this channel. Okay, but really, I think all we can really say here is that I absolutely cannot benefit from those 35 Slayer levels till I earn them properly. Beyond that, I just really have to try and do my best to not get caught out like this again. This was the first time that anything like this has happened on the series. And if nothing else, it was a pretty good learning moment for me to take a moment to step back and really make sure I understand what I'm doing.
Look, big shout out to you if you managed to spot the problem I listed back when I was explaining the lunar diplomacy requirements, because boy oh boy, I certainly didn't, and I went back and forth over those requirements about a dozen times. Anyway, let's press on. It's about time we finished this.
Well, after that ordeal, we have finally made it to Moon Clan Island, where we should, in theory, be able to access the shop that sells the outfit we need right away. We have more than enough money. But mind you, I've never tried to buy this outfit before, ever. So, I don't know if it quite works that way, but it should be, I think, this woman right here. Okay, cutscene. Is this woman bald? She is. Fascinating. Okay. Sell it to me. Hey! There it is. This is the Moon Clan outfit. Right, so I'm going to buy all of these. They're quite cheap. Full set. I'm going to buy this as well, just in case it's like some of the other items where you need to have both hats, like the Castle Wars armor. Alright, let's put this stuff on. It's very adventurer core, isn't it? For any other item set that required halfway through a quest like this, I would go ahead and finish the quest, but as you may know, Lunar Diplomacy also rewards the Lunar Equipment, which is another set of items. So I'm going to wait until I get assigned that to finish this quest, because that makes sense to me. Right, let's go back home. In 8 minutes, when my minigame teleport expires. Alright, as I run around with this set, it does look pretty cool, especially with the Draven Staff. Pretty dope, pretty dope. Well, after that debacle with the Bullseye Lantern that we're going to do our best to forget about, it's time to store this set of items and roll one more. We got an absolute mountain of progress. Well, you can store all of it. Huh, beautiful. I'm glad I bought the other helmet then. An absolute mountain of progress in the account. Look at all the skills we got up. 65 magic, 43 defense, 35 slayer. We've got some bletching, we've got some thieving, agility, mining, crafting. All this stuff is going to help out a ton. Also, we have a very nice looking title level. But we've been at it for a while now, so I'm very keen to go ahead and roll our next item. Let's do it. Feels like it's been a minute since we've been here at the spreadsheet. Let's hit complete. And that's 11% completion. Now, I barely even remember what's in tier 2 anymore. I'm just going to hit this button, and we're going to see what we get. Go on. I've hit it. Our first piece of Void. Well, it's a nice quick one. The Void Mage Helmet. Not bad, not bad. Obviously, I'm not going to get a whole lot out of this helmet till I get the task for the full set, but we will get that in tier 2, so it's just a matter of pressing on.
And that's it. I'll catch you next time.